Hey there. So there's been a topic circling in my head for months, maybe even years, that I've been kind of wanting to put on there on the internet, just because I think it's kind of cool, and I have a lot of things in my brain, so I'm gonna start putting them out there because why the fuck not? So I'm the kind of person who is all like remakes are fucking over the industry and they're ruining everything, and I hate adaptations and reboots and soft reboots and all that shit. But I'm also a big hypocrite because even though I believe in a lot that we should give more attention to new ideas that aren't based off any established IP, I also thoroughly believe that remakes are cool and adaptations are good. And people might be thinking, well, what the fuck? Well, a good case in point is Death Note. Death Note is a really great story to me. It transcends the fact that it's a manga. It's just fucking incredible, and I think that um, you know, my mom also likes a lot of stuff that I do like, and so when I'm reading Death Note, I'm like, she would actually really like this. That was the reason why I'm into a lot of nerdy things in the first place. So I read Death Note, and I'm like, my mom would fucking dig this. Here's the thing: she does not like comics or manga. She doesn't. She just can't get into them. Whatever it is, she just can't read them. She just doesn't find enjoyment out of it. It's a good story though, and it should be portrayed, and she should enjoy it, as should anybody else who might have that weird thing about them where they just can't enjoy it for whatever reason that it could be. I am recording, cool. Whatever reason that it could be, they just can't do it. So let's say there's a book series that is fucking incredible, like A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones show, is a fucking incredible story. I'm reading it right now. I've been reading it for ages. I'm just a slow ass reader. It's a great story. The thing is, every book is like the size of Lord of the Rings, and Lord of the Rings is huge by itself. Some people can't get through that. They just can't. It's too much for them, or they don't have the time, because reading does take a lot of time, especially if you're not like an adept reader. If you can't read really fast or comprehend super fast. I'm not saying you're dumb. I'm just saying that like some people just can't get through those monster of a books. And same thing with video games. There are games that are hours long that have a great story, but there are people who can't sit down and play a 40, 50, 100-hour game. They can't do it. And so that's why I think that adaptation is a good thing. Not only adaptation is a good thing, but I think there are certain things that should be adapted. There are certain things that I see and I'm like, that should be like a whatever. And here's one of those things I personally feel like should be a thing. Star Wars Knights of the Republic is a BioWare RPG that was made in 2003. After they did Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter Nights, it was like their next big thing. And it paved the way for Mass Effect and Dragon Age, honestly. It was their big thing. And Knights of the Republic is one of the best Star Wars stories ever told, aside from the original three movies. It was incredible. It was amazing. I've played the game like 2 or 3 times now. I'm playing through it again right now. It's so fucking great. But now I'm at this point in my life where I've been thinking about like, this should be a show. And not only that, but I think it should be a Netflix series. Now, I'm very much a fan of Netflix and how they do things and the way they make television. The Marvel stuff is amazing. Narcos is incredible. Most of what they touch is really good. They know how to make stuff and they give a shit. It's like HBO quality, but streaming. And I'm saying Netflix also because Disney owns Marvel, also owns Star Wars. Marvel's partnered with Netflix for shows. Contractually, it's the easiest way to go, and also I think the best way to go. So there was a petition a while ago for Knights of the Republic, or the Old Republic, to be a Netflix series. I signed it because I thought it was great, but they just sort of said, hey, this should be a thing. And I want to give, hopefully in the next 5 minutes, so it's not a super long video, what I think the Netflix Knights of the Republic show should be and how you could continue it to be a whole thing. Because the Old Republic is, I think, some of the best shit ever in Star Wars. Whenever there's an Old Republic reference in the Clone Wars show by Dave Filoni, I fucking freak out. I haven't watched season 6 yet, but I know there's a Darth Bane reference, and my Darth Bane book is right over there. And like the Old Republic is just a really interesting time for me. I think I love being in that world. So here's what I think an Old Republic show could look like, especially if maybe I was doing it. So the main thing is that it would be a lot darker than some other Star Wars stuff you've seen. I'm not saying darker is better, because there's also some really funny stuff I want to have in this Knights of the Republic show. It's not just going to be a dark, ooh, episode 3 brooding, that's dumb. One of the things I liked about Force Awakens was the comedy. There was more comedy, there's more human elements of it, and I like that a lot. So I think there should be that as well. It should be a mixture of the two. It should be like an all-inclusive thing. It should be more in the style of Breaking Bad, the Marvel Netflix stuff, Narcos, Game of Thrones, that and apparently Westworld, which I haven't seen the show yet, but I watched the movie. But, just movie-level filmmaking in television is important. And I think that it could be about 4 seasons long, with 3 probably being the longest season and 1 being the shortest. 3 is the longest and also ends with the twist. I'm not going to say it because it's amazing, and I don't want it to become a meme, like how Luke, I'm Your Father is a meme, even before meme existed, just a pop culture thing. It's a twist on par with that, if or even better, because it made me feel the way it made me actually feel stronger than when I felt whenever I heard that Darth Vader was Luke's father. Like, I remember that moment distinctly, where I was, what I was doing, I remember what was happening, and that moment when it hit me was impactful. But the twist in Knights of the Republic rivals that, and I think is better than that. During the course of the travels in the show, you would visit amazing planets like the crime-ridden planet of Terrace. I almost called it Paris. The Jedi Order on Dantooine, the deserts of Tatooine, the jungle world of Kashyyyk or Kashyyyk, and the neutral water world of Milan, along with the Sith world of Korriban. And here's how I think you'd go. Season 1 would all be on Terrace. It would be nothing but Terrace. Terrace is the first world you ever visit in the game, and it is where you meet most of the people who travel with you on your adventures. So you have to introduce all of them. You have to understand who they are as people. Personally, I don't like when a story rushes through character introductions and you don't know who anybody is. It's one of the reasons I don't like the Hobbit book or the movies. I don't know who these people are. The reason why I like Lord of the Rings and Fellowship better is because you spend a little bit of time with everybody. Like, okay, here's Frodo, here's Sam, here's Merry, here's Pippin. Here's Aragorn, here's Gandalf, here's Bilbo. And it's not all at once. It's like you slowly introduce these people so that by the end of the story, you're like, oh, I know who these people are. Even though there's almost as many people in the party in Lord of the Rings as there is in The Hobbit. I think there's maybe 4 less people. You know them way better than you did in The Hobbit. And that's when you need a slow introduction of characters. It's what Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood doesn't have on me that the original show did. You slowly, here's a new character. Alright, a little bit of time goes by. Here's a new character. So having a whole season on Terrace, I think it'd be about 8 episodes, but you'd have a whole season on Terrace. You introduce most of your crew, and you know them. You understand who they are. It's super important. The first episode would all be on the Endar Spire. I'm not going to give away too much plot points. I'm going to try to keep this very spoiler-free. You'd open with Darth Revan being captured by Bastila, and the explosion happens by Darth Malak, and then you cut to a few months later. You're on the no, they're not in the Endar Spire. They're on that ship, and then they're in the Endar Spire. Cartho Nassi is the captain because you don't really know who the captain is in the game, so it makes more sense for it to be Carth in the show. Also for ease of knowing who everybody is, and you slowly introduce who everybody is. I gave the main character the name of Aaron Dakari, only because he doesn't really have a name, and I'm going with a he because canonically it's a guy in 1. You have an easy to know relatable first name, and you have a very Star Warsy last name, and they're actually all names that are in the generator. And then they crash on a terrace after the attack, and then after that initial opening, because it opens, you're on the ship. Bastila and the Jedi's come to capture Darth Revan, who's a douchebag. That's your first lightsaber fight. That's the only one you see for like 8 episodes until they rescue Bastila at the end of the first season before they escape. My biggest thing about Star Wars is being careful with your lightsaber fights and how you use them, and that they're impactful. The reason why I liked how the original series and 7 has like one lightsaber fight per movie is so good, because you have to really know when to put it in, know when the lightsaber fights come in. In the prequels, it was bad. Every 10 seconds, lightsabers. Look up the Mr. Plinkett lightsaber montage. It's just like, I hate that. I hate it so much. But, you have a season with these characters in the Star Wars universe, and none of them have a lightsaber. So that when one does come out, and you show how much damage it can wreak, it's important. It's vital. Season 2 would be on Dantooine and Kashyyyk. That's when you do the Jedi training with your main character, and then you start your journey for the Starforge, which is the MacGuffin. Really, there's like 5 MacGuffins. Go find the MacGuffins. Go. That's the idea. Also on Dantooine, you meet more characters for your crew, and then on Kashyyyk, you meet your next character. So by the end of season 2, all of your main characters are there. You have them. You're good to go. Also in Kashyyyk, you have some other characters' backstories. You have everybody by the end of season 2 on your crew. And so by 3 and 4, they're series regulars. You can have them on, have them do crazy zany things. It's just for ease of access. Season 3 is the longest one because you have Tatooine, Manon, and then the 2-part finale on the Leviathan, where a lot of things come to a head. There's a showdown with Darth Malak. Cartho Nassi meets his big baddie. There's a solo part where you play a different part of your crew. Mission should do it for me. It's the longest season, but it's before the finale, which is season 4, where you have Korriban and the Starforge, and then that's your finale, and then the show's over basically. I like my idea is that like it could go on for a long time, but I like what Avatar: The Last Airbender did, where it's like, okay, no, we have a mission, find the Starforge. Oh, cool, we found it, the mission's done. My big thing about writing and making stuff is, what's your mission? How do you get there? And having a mission and doing it is important, because once the mission is done, you finish. So issues with a lot of shows that are running for too long is that there's a mission. The mission's done. Then there's 10 more seasons. No, the mission's over. You finish the mission. Think about Supernatural. It hit a point where I was like, I'm done watching. It's enjoyable, yeah, but the mission's over, and it feels like we're just sort of thinking of plot points to keep these characters doing new zany things every week, That's why I like Avatar. Avatar was like, it could have gone on, but it didn't, because it was over. They did the thing they set out to do. The mission's done. And honestly, that's mainly what I think the show could be. It could be 4 seasons. 1's the shortest, 8 episodes. You establish everybody. 2, you introduce more of the Jedi, because the first season's on Terrace. It's all crime-ridden. It's all like, basically low-level Coruscant, like in the movies or in the Clone Wars show. But for a whole season, you're in the grungy, like, the scum of the universe sort of thing. And then season 2, now we have Force and lightsaber budget. So now we can do the Jedi training and introduce Jedi characters and have more lightsabers, because season 2, main character, comes the Jedi, gets a lightsaber, learns the Force, shit like that. So then you introduce all those things when you've established, okay, this can work as a show. This is a proven concept for season 1. It didn't fail. Season 2, the budget can grow, the episode number can grow a little bit. See, I'm not owning this like as a story point, but as like a how to do this as a show, which is what that petition never really outlined, I think. Or if it did, I wasn't really paying attention. But I don't remember them giving like an example of what they wanted to do for a show. But yeah, 4-season Knights of the Republic show. And you can keep going with that. After that, you can do another show. You can do the Mandalorian Wars with Revan and Malak, which introduce, I think, Metra something, who's the main character of Knights of the Republic 2. Then that could be its own show. Like, you can do 2 more things if you want to keep up, that idea. I don't know what to do for those specifically. I only have ideas for Knights of the Republic, but you can keep, this is a 4-season in and out done thing, that's cool, but there is room for more in the Old Republic. It's amazing because you have all of this knowledge that you can touch from. You have all this stuff from the games and some of the books that you can touch upon, and it's so detached from Luke and Anakin and Rey that you can kind of have fun, and it won't change much, honestly. So yeah, that's my idea for a Knights of the Republic show. 4 seasons. You gradually up the budget. introduce everybody early on, but give them enough time to do their thing. 2 lightsaber fights in season 1, then after that, whenever they need to be. It's hard at that point. I understand the difficulty in a show, and like, okay, well, the lightsabers are going to come out very often, I get that. But yeah, that's my idea. If you liked it, let me know. If you want to hear more pitches, let me know. I have shit for I have my Google Drive up. This is where I'm grabbing all these. I have shit for an Assassin's Creed show, Shadow of the Colossus 1-season show, Squirrel Girl, fucking... What don't I have? I think of this a lot, so if you liked it, let me know. I've been thinking of writing the pilot for a Clone Wars show and putting it up on my Twitter or on a website. If you want to read that, if that's a thing people would like to read, I'd like to know. And, yeah, thanks. I'm done rambling.